Welcome back, our dear viewers, and now we are moving from skincare protection into the protection of the world itself. World Red Cross and Red Crescent Day is a celebration on May 8th. Each year, this date marks the birthday of Henry Dunant, founder of the International Committee of the Red Cross and recipient of the first Nobel Peace Prize. Theme for 2026, United in Humanity. Isn't that amazing? Objective to honor the millions of volunteers and staff who works to provide humanitarian assistance in challenging circumstances and to renew the commitment to the 7 fundamental principles of the movement. Let's welcome Zainab Qambar, Director of Operation Affairs. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, our great pleasure to have you actually for the second time.
Yes.
And you are coming like with a new hairstyle. So what is like the significance of today's celebration?
Well, today not only marks the birth of the founder of the movement, it also reminds us of the strength and unity of the humanitarian work. Basically, the unity for for humanity.
Yes, and that theme really like sparked me, you know?
Yes.
Like, it was really amazing. How do you feel about it?
Well, humanity will, I believe that humanity will last, and humanity is the foundation of all human interaction with each other.
Exactly.
So without humanity, the interaction would be dull. So I believe that the day not only marks that memory, it marks the fundamentals of interaction between humans and during crisis, during peacetime. So how do we deal with each other, and it's based on humanity.
That's really awesome. And with all what's happening currently, like nowadays, especially like in Kuwait, and specific honor this day.
Yes, so basically on this day for Kuwait, we have been dealing with these principles for as long as we know.
Exactly.
We've been raised by our religion, by Islam, has been taught us how to deal with humans and interact with humans.
The tradition and cultures that we have also.
So these principles are embedded within the culture of Kuwait. We deal with each other based on our human needs, so the interactions have been there forever.
Exactly, and that's really awesome, like to know something that you are doing like in the globe, around like the globe. It's also like associating with what you are doing locally in Kuwait.
Yes, correct. So with Kuwait Red Crescent Society, we have been working on these fundamental principles as part of the movement. So our interaction globally, or our projects globally, are based on these principles, which is neutrality, equality, on humanity, with no segregation. We deal with our projects based on that, with people based on that. So our projects mainly supporting all the humanitarian needs worldwide, trying to remain sustainable, trying to maintain or select projects that are sustainable worldwide to serve the humanitarian needs.
That's really awesome and very honorable actually. So as a member, or someone who works in that organizations, tell me more about your role there.
Operation Director is basically, we do strategic planning on operations, on how to respond during crisis or emergencies, whether if it's armed conflict or natural disasters.
Okay.
So my role is basically to engage with international organizations, engage with different stakeholders and partners to see the best way that we can respond for emergencies. Of course, we pre-plan the emergencies that we have on the response that we have. We prepare those plans, we implement those plans, and we see the different partners, whether if they're traditional or non-traditional, and how they interact with this strategic planning that we do. We communicate with international organizations such as the UN organizations or the International Federation or the ICRC as well.
So a lot of communications happening and planning at the same time.
Yes.
How did that like kind of inflect in your personal life, if you would say?
Well,
sometimes like, you know, like an engineer, when he works, he becomes so structured in his life.
Yes.
Sometimes a doctor, he becomes like more patient with others. So for you, working like planning, communicating.
Well, it makes you realize that coordination is very important. It's a very less looked at aspect, and people assume that coordination comes automatically between strategy and between implementation. So strategic planning, and then there is an implementation, so expect an outcome whenever there is a strategy. But in reality, the coordination in between that takes place needs to be strategic, needs to be well intentional and well implemented. And it doesn't come automatically to those who are doing it. So coordination usually takes, it's a huge science that you need to understand when implementing and expecting the desired outcome of a strategy.
Okay. That's really lovely. And
so that impacted my life. So whenever I have a plan or whenever I want to do something, I know that it takes steps to get to the outcome. So
anyone like he's going for the New Year resolution, they refer to you, huh?
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that, but I guess coordination is very important.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. So going back to the theme of today and the day itself, like May 8th. So how can Kuwait, in which way it stand with this day and execute the same impact as we are living today?
Well, for the National Society, they have been executing the principles, which is the core of the day, of celebrating that day. It's not something that they do once a year. It's something that is fundamental with every operation that they do with the National Society. So the movement principles, the 7 principles that the movement is following, is basically something that is embedded within the operations that the Kuwait Red Crescent Society is doing. We also never forget to celebrate the volunteers and the aid workers within the society and within the foundation, within the federation. So this is something very important for us because of their bravery, because of their sacrifices, and
Indeed.
because of how they respond to humanitarian needs worldwide and within Kuwait, within the state of Kuwait. This is something that is very honorable, and we'd like to recognize that on that day. Every day we'd like to recognize it, but on that day specifically, because this is something very courageous and noble that they're doing.
Indeed, they are very noble and very courageous to do, and to keep doing it year after year.
Yes.
That's really awesome. So each year you have a different title for the theme itself. So is there a specific agenda for choosing the title or the theme for the year, or?
Well, every year the theme depends on the elements that you recognize throughout the year. So every year it depends on whether humanitarian aid workers are highlighted, or they usually select themes based on, I wouldn't say trends, but mostly on the need to shed light or the spotlight on. So this year, with everything that's going on, the hardship, the conflicts, the disasters that are going on, I think United for Humanity is something that stands out, because at the end of the day, we're all human and we all stand together in support or in response for any disaster that happens.
That's really awesome. And looking to the future, what are some of the agenda for the Kuwait Crescent Society they have for the future?
Well, we'll continue working for those who are mostly vulnerable and in need. We will continue designing projects and humanitarian aid responses to those who are the most vulnerable and in need worldwide and in Kuwait.
Okay.
And I think Kuwait Red Crescent Society will continue to look at these as well as sustainable projects that would support communities and mostly empower communities to respond to other communities as well.
That's really awesome, and we will continue to feel really honored by the achievements and all the hard work that you are doing on behalf of the Red Crescent Society. That's really awesome. Thank you so much, Zainab Qambar, Director of Operations and Affairs Administration, for being with us here and telling us about the journey and the special day for May 8th for the Red Crescent Society.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, it's our pleasure. And now, dear viewers, we're going to move to one of the recent reports. In South Korea, some traditional crafts continue to maintain their value despite industrial and technological development, most notably the art of handmade ceramics and pottery. Between the heat of the kilns and the precision of fine details, simple pieces of clay are transformed into artistic creations that carry a long history of craftsmanship and creativity, reflecting an important part of Korean culture In today's report, we highlight the art of Korean ceramics and the journey of a craft that has continued for decades while preserving the artistic cultural value to this day. So let's watch the report and then we're going to be back.